The Working Artist Project is brought to you by Second Line Arts Collective. Learn how you can support at secondlinearts.org.
We're creating a platform for those who are curious, one that tells the story from the artist's perspective. Moments in time, captured from the innovators who are reshaping dance, music, theater, and the visual arts. This is the Working Artist Project.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, and welcome back to the Working Artist Project. It's been a minute since I've been alone, but tonight I am alone. I used to do this podcast every week alone for about 2 years, and then my great co-host Gregory Aji joined me, and he's somewhere. I think he's somewhere in Canada, actually, somewhere around the Banff area. He didn't make it to his hotel in time, so you're stuck with me. You're stuck with me. But we're gonna have an exciting show tonight. We have a very special guest, Miss Gina D'Soto, originally from Cuba, from Havana, Cuba, made her way to Canada, of all places. Like, how you go from the tropics to the cold Chandra? We're gonna find out tonight. And after that, she came to New York, and she's a wonderful, a masterful musician. And it's gonna be a good night because I'm gonna be getting to know her with you. So it's gonna be a very intimate and honest occasion, and I'm very excited. So without further ado, why don't we welcome the one and only Gina D'Soto to the Working Artist Project. Yo, Gina. I feel like Martin. Gina. I can't hear you. There you go.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Did I butcher your last name or what?
No, that's nice. That's fine.
Okay, cool. It's like, so I want to start at the beginning because like I feel like Cuba is a magical place, and I've actually been. My first tour was in Cuba. It was like a USO tour, kind of Cuba.
Wow.
It was Guantanamo Bay. I think I was like 19 or 20, somewhere in there. And,
that's a interesting place to be.
I know, right? It was it was one of those things like, I had an opportunity, so I was like, all right, cool, let's do it. But and it was right at the height of all of the shit. I'm 37, so it was a long time ago, but yeah, it was interesting. I've always wanted to go back to Cuba to feel what Cuba is actually like, because Guantanamo Bay is basically America with a gate around it.
Yeah.
Had a McDonald's and everything.
Yeah, that was actually, when I knew about that, it was like super interesting. I was like, wow, there's actually a McDonald's in Cuba, but it's not Cuba.
Right.
So
it's very complicated relationship, America, Cuba, but you made it over here. So what was it like growing up in Cuba, and what were how did you get into this music particularly?
What music? What do you mean? The music that I do?
Yeah.
So I grew up around like a very artistic family. I mean, my mom and dad, they're not artists at all, but they're economists, both of them.
Really?
But my brother, he used to be a ballet dancer, and my sister, even though she graduated as a philosopher, she had a really amazing inclination towards arts, like painting and photography. Just great photographer. I have cousins that they study music, uncles that they study music and theater. So it was kind of like the thing. I don't know. Since I was a kid, I just remember putting like this costumes that I did with like my mom clothes, and then and then kind of like karaoke, this like music in the background, putting out shows for my family, and everybody's like, oh, can you like recite a poem, or like, can you like sing a song? I'm like, sure. And I guess that was like something easy for me to do. But then my mom, she was like, oh my God, you should like sing. She put me in in everything, like ballet, in I don't know, Spanish dance, like a flamenco type of thing.
Yeah.
That's like a big thing in Cuba.
Oh.
History.
Yeah.
And then drawing classes, and then finally it's just like, you know what, let's do like the music entry exam for like this school or whatever. It's like, I don't want to do this. Anyhow, I did it.
Okay.
But actually it wasn't for singing. We don't have like a singing curriculum. And the one we have is like for people that are older, not like little kids that are on 8, 7. No, they're more like in the teens, and it's like classical.
Okay.
So what I studied was piano, and I graduated as a classical pianist. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not really into like, even though I did the entire 17 years of like studying classical piano, I was like, you know what? I feel like I need to connect with people in another way.
Wow.
So I decided to do a jazz voice minor. And that, even though it was kind of hard for me to face people, to connect with people like directly, it was like a really beautiful work for me, and a really amazing experience to like from the start.
Right. Yeah, that's an interesting journey. It's funny because I feel like that happens to more people than not. Like, people start as classical pianists, and then they're like, man, I want to, for whatever reason, it feels like classical music or people who play it feel like it doesn't reach people the same way. I think it does, but it just reaches a different demographic of people.
Don't get me wrong. I love classical. I listen to classical music, like not every day, but a very amount of hours during the week.
Yeah.
And I used to go to a bunch of classical concerts. I still go. It's just that, I don't know, we call it popular music, like timba and reggaeton and pop and all this kind of thing, rumba. It's so in your face, like in the TV or like when you go to concert. And for me, that type of performance and, being on stage and actually like interacting with people, not just giving it the side of my body and not even like, seeing it.
Right.
I don't know. It was kind of weird. I really wanted to connect. I wanted to see people's expressions, faces,
You mentioned that when you first got on stage, did you have like stage fright? Was it natural for you to like sing that song?
How do you know? Yes, I did. Yeah, the first time was hard, man. It was hard. Yeah. I got that mic and I was like, okay, peace. I just dropped the mic and just ran away. I was yeah, it was like, no, this is not for me. Because it was my first experience, facing people. It was like, whoa, okay, why are y'all looking at me?
Right.
It's a very different interaction, and you get definitely a different response. And it's a totally different world. So I wasn't prepared for it at first, of course, but you have training, you have time to work on your craft. So
right. A lot of times, like, I'm a drummer. I don't even know if you know that, but when I'm on stage, I'm like there with the people and I'm looking out, but also simultaneously, like I'm in my own world. You know what I mean? Like, I need them. I need the people for sure. I realized that during COVID, and another thing I realized is I'm addicted to the applause. But we can get to that later. But do you do that? Do you go inside to kind of deal with some of that stage fright? Because people are like looking into your soul when you're creating music, and there's all kinds of shit happening in the audience, like.
Listen, I realized when I started performing that even though I am myself, I needed to kind of create my world, my intimate space where I can be another person, which is Gina D'Soto. So I can, how how Beyonce has a Sasha Fierce or whatever.
I was thinking the same thing. You got your Beyonce energy happening.
Exactly, because you want it to be vulnerable. You want it to be there for the audience, and you want to welcome them to your world. But you cannot give all of yourself, because then there is no mystery. Then there is not get to know Gina the person. So I needed to create my Gina the artist, who is like the person that I present to the audience. Is like, this is me. I mean, it's not like black and white. It's not like Mr. Hyde and the other guy that I forgot his name. Checker. It's still me. It's just a different part of me that you get to see, like, and on stage. The person that doesn't have stage fright, the person that wants to connect with you, the person that wants to sing your songs and connect and welcome you to the world. But at the same time, I'm not gonna let you into my private space, all of it, because you gotta get to know me.
Like, why do you feel the need to protect that private space? What is it that you're hiding?
It's not like I'm trying to hide anything. It's just that since early age, knowing a lot of musicians around me, because I study music, and seeing things like going on for artists, and now that we have social media, it's like all eyes on you every time, and people have the need to share everything, every single aspect of their lives. And even though I share a lot of information on social media, social media is not real. No, definitely. You can, people can see a beautiful picture of me and me doing this and that, but I have to reserve some stuff for myself, because I cannot, welcome a bunch of negativity that is around that world into my world. I cannot let that break me. And I'm definitely protecting that side of me, keeping it as like, okay, my phone is not going to be with me 24/7. I don't need that. And if somebody wants to reach me, they're going to call.
Right.
I feel like, and that's a topic that I've been kind of sharing with a bunch of friends of mine. Because mental health and how bad it is. So how bad it is, social media and all these people reaching all the time. So since I was not a kid, but since I was like early teens, I kind of learned the value of kind of separating the person from the artist in order to have a good mental health, a positive vibe and energy around you that doesn't interfere with your art or interfere with your life or your relationships.
Yeah, I can see how that can be positive for artists, because because art is subjective. People say a lot of things about you as a creator, especially as you're growing. Like, oh, that sucked, or that was really good, and trying to figure out how not to get too high or too low. And I'm sure as a woman, there's a whole different set of shit that you got to deal with that men don't.
Oh yeah.
And in putting up that wall, that barrier of protection to say, okay, cool, that was Gina D'Soto, not Regina, or whatever else your however you identify as your real self.
I mean, everything that a person is the real self. It's just that you put your boundaries whether to share that info or not. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that you're faking things. It doesn't mean that you are going to be a totally different person behind their backs. It's just that not everybody needs to know about your life, or not everybody needs to know about your secrets or your way of doing or being.
Yeah, that's an interesting. I always think about Cardi B when people like there's two sides of this coin, right? Like there's the Beyonce side, there's the Regina side, and then like there's that Cardi B side where she came onto social media being herself, and that's kind of what skyrocketed her to fame, because she was kind of like the first person who was like, I'm gonna just be me, just from the Bronx, whatever else that means. And I feel like people kind of gravitate towards that energy also, but do put yourself in the line of fire to be dissected and to be exposed, for your personal life to be exposed, your relationships, your intimate, your real relationships, not your social media relationships.
Yeah.
It's interesting how those two things can garner like the same reward, but have completely different consequences.
Yeah, I mean, you can be real on social media, but as I say, you can. It's not like you put in a different persona. Cardi B, yeah, she came out as like, yeah, I'm just gonna be me. I'm gonna do myself, be real, no filter. This is it, and that's great. But like, to what extent you want, like, how much of your life you want to share with people,
right?
So that's my whole thing. Like, I don't want to share every single aspect of my life with people. I'm real on social media. I'm not saying that everything that I put on there is fake. Not at all. But I just don't share that much information of myself. It's like, yeah.
No, I get that. When it comes to the music and your creative process, do you draw on that the experiences you had growing up in Cuba?
More or less. So when it comes about like the topics of the songs or like the writing process, it's mainly about things that have happened to me. I guess from my late teens till now, like I write based on recent events because, present. I definitely write things that has to do more with my Cuban background. But that's another project. But it definitely has a lot of influences, like rhythmic influences, and not that much harmony, because I kind of base a lot of things that I do in rhythm more than the harmonies. So a lot of my music has I'm not gonna say strong, but it has a very a good presence of Cuban rhythms in there.
Right.
And not necessarily Cuban, Latin rhythms as well, because, you know, I don't want to just reduce myself into like Cuban, you know. No, listen, Latin music is so beautiful. And it has like so much richness to like everything, like rhythm wise, melodies and harmonies. So I didn't want to limit myself in that. So I'm exploring into different rhythms from the Latin spectrum. But definitely a lot of things are Cuban. Definitely a lot of things.
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like we're gonna listen to a track of yours here in a second, but I do feel like people who grow up in Cuba and learn to play music have an advantage a lot of times over American musicians around the same age. For whatever reason, they're usually way better at their instruments, you know, and like they just have a different kind of focus. And also because you grow up with that rhythmic thing happening in Cuba, like the groove is there, like that clave is in everything that you do. You was just drinking your coffee, it was a clave happening, you know what I'm saying? Like it was a vibe on it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, in music school, we start from, you know, very little, like 7, 8 years old. You start studying like either piano, violin, or cello. And then if you're like around 10, you can learn like trumpet, flute, the rest of the instruments. It's just like the other ones, I don't know why they started earlier. But yes, once you're in music school, you're gonna start learning a lot of things since you're a little girl, boy. So it's intense. And about the rhythm thing is like it's in everything. Like I think it was like 2 days ago, I was talking to a friend of mine. He's from Cuba as well, from another province. And he was showing me like, yo, you heard this song from like this band? I'm like, yeah. And then my boyfriend came in, he was like, oh, you never showed me this. I'm like, I don't know. This is like something that I used to like listen every time. So I don't know. He was like, this is so killing. I'm like, well, I listen, like, this is like the background song for like, I don't know, the news. But it was like so killing.
Right.
Like the rhythm thing is like so killing. So you listen to all this amazing music since like you're a little kid, because it's like the background music for the news or for like any show, or it's just like a commercial background music. It's crazy, I know, but it's like such a killing music. I'm just like, okay, this is actually cool. For me, it was like normal, but yeah.
Right. But for everybody else, it's like, oh, that's nuts, man. Why don't we take a minute now and let's listen to one of your songs, and then we'll talk about it. Here we go.
Sure.
Someday wakes up searching for a new song, smiling flowers, and up there I bought in the sky the melody of a new song that sounds like magic, dreams and colors, and the beauty of a new life. Thursday morning, and you form a brand new day, tears and kisses, and the happiness wants to come and play with everyone around the moon and search for fairies, gnomes, and mermaids, angels, things that I don't understand. But maybe if you teach me, I could try to be the best for you if you want me to. If you want me to, maybe if you show me, I could stretch my wings and learn to fly. Music is like all those things that you said once. Doors are open, come to me. Oh, please don't waste the time that's so precious for you and me. Let's try to melt your heart, my heart, the world, and everything around the stars. I got summertime, hot as weather, awesome clouds, long way you hear, it's unreal. Oh, you are mine, there's no doubt. And now I'm not letting you go, cause now I'm full of hope and happiness, and things that are so hard to get. But maybe if you teach me, I could try to.
See, you just gonna put that samba on them real quick, you know? Yo, I love that. I love it so much. The backgrounds, everything, the rhythm, the band. You sound beautiful. And
Thank you.
yeah, you remind me of me when I'm in the shower. You know, I mean, yeah. Well, tell me about this song and what's the story behind it?
Oh my God.
Yeah, let it out. Let them secrets out.
So I mean, this song I wrote it like 2018 probably.
Yeah.
It was really funny. I needed a song. I needed to write a song for my final project of school.
Oh God.
And I was like, this is such a pain. I really don't want to do this. So I was actually coming back and forth in Canada and New York. And actually, I think it wasn't the new school. I was trying to do the entrance exam for new school or something like that. I don't know. I was trying to do some test for new school.
Yeah, you're right.
And I was like, oh, I found a piano. And I start trying to like, okay, I need to do this, like coming up with the chords. So I was like, okay, this is cool. And then I started like punching some chords, and I was like, okay, let's save this. And I recorded on my phone, and it's kind of the melody came up, and then I kind of wrote the lyrics later. But it was kind of like a hard process because like I didn't know, I didn't have the chorus. So I kind of had like once I started writing the verses, I was like, okay, this is nice, but like I don't have the chorus. And the funny thing is that the chorus came to me because a honking war.
What? Like in the car?
No, I was in a bus. Going back to Canada.
Oh shit, okay.
So the car in front of me had like the and the other car behind it was the other note. So like one day they randomly play like dun, dun. So it was like nice. I was like, I don't know, some crazy stuff happened. I was like,
oh my God.
Okay, cool. So that melody was the one that I used for the chorus, and then I started writing the lyrics.
All right, there you go. Thank God for people honking on the highway. So you. What about the lyrics? The story you're telling in the lyrics, like how did that develop? Is that a real story or what?
It is a real story. So that happened to me when I was okay. So personal life. The story I wrote it for my ex.
Mm-hmm. Fuck him.
So it was like the story is kind of how our relationship started, like how we kind of met, and then how I felt about it and what I wanted for the relationship, and you know my dreams about the person when you have all these expectations and things. So yeah, it's a real story. It's like
wow.
Yeah.
Thank God for exes, man. You know, the exes,
yeah,
they be fueling all the creativity. You know what I'm saying? I got a pile of them. I hate them all though. Except for I'm just joking.
I mean, you get a lot of ideas from illusions and disillusions. So
there you go. Yeah, it's funny though. It is funny, you know, just speaking about relationships now, how you can have a dream of what you want the person to be.
Mm.
You know, and sometimes that dream doesn't allow you to accept them as they are. And so, you know, that's a
Yeah.
that happens all the time, baby. It happens all the time. So,
Yeah.
so you came to New York just to go to school. Is that what happened when you leave Canada and you come to New York for school, or what?
Kind of. I was like, should I do a master's? Shouldn't I not do a master's? And I end up not doing a master's. I was like, nah, I'm just gonna work.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a very different world for me coming to New York.
Like how so?
I was living in Montreal. So even though Montreal is a very cosmopolitan place to be, and it's beautiful and amazing, everybody should go there at least like once. New York had its totally different vibe, the attitude of the city and the people, the energy. It reminded me a lot of Havana in some aspects.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Havana is I mean, even though it's the capital of Cuba, there's so much noise all the time and a lot of things going on, and you have to be like alert 24/7, 365. Sorry, 365. I don't know what I added zero there. What? So that was really cool for me when I started living here for the first time. And then it was like as I, you know, as time passed by and I discovered, you know, places and met people, it was very welcoming. I mean, I'm not saying like it's the easiest city to live in, because it has its perks and it has like its downsides, and definitely New York is like such a hard place to be in every aspect. But at the same time, I don't know, it's like Stockholm. That's the name of the syndrome.
Stockholm.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. You like New York and Stockholm syndrome. Like,
yeah.
It kidnaps you. And you're just like, damn, I love you so much. You mistreat me every day.
Listen, I've been to so many places, such beautiful places. People are so nice. It's like I'm having the greatest time of my life. And then like after a week, I'm like, okay, I why am I here again? I need to be in New York. What is happening? But it's amazing, the scene. I have the opportunity to meet amazing musicians from everywhere in the world, actually. So, and I'm never gonna find that anywhere else.
Yeah, I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. You ain't gonna never meet nobody else from Jackson, Mississippi.
I don't even know when I go to Mississippi.
That's what I'm saying. See?
But yeah, meeting people from everywhere.
Yeah.
Sharing the knowledge, the experiences, the history. You know, getting to jam sessions and you know, exchanging ideas, like musical ideas. You know, creating a community is beautiful.
Yeah, New York is unique because I always call it, like, for me, like as a musician, I feel like New York is like the NBA, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody in the NBA was the greatest player in their town, at their high school, at their college. But then you get to the NBA and you have a collection of all the greatest players. You know what I mean? But there's only always one LeBron James, one Kevin Durant, but never forget that the worst player in the NBA is better than 99.9% of every other basketball player on earth. And I feel like that's what's happening in New York. And because of that, you have all of that creativity and you create communities like the song we just listened to. You can't do that in Wichita, Kansas. I think you can do it in Havana, though, based on what I but you know, you just can't do that in many other places in this country. New Orleans, Chicago, LA, and New York. That's probably about it. Where you have that collection of like minds and serious people, like people like you.
Yeah.
So how do you leave the tropics for the frozen tandra of New York? Like, you never miss it? Like, I feel like I would just be
I do miss it.
Oh, okay, all right. Are you gonna go back? Or are there no opportunities? Why leave Havana? Like, what's happening?
So first I got a scholarship to finish my degree in piano.
Right.
And at the same time, my family got a job proposition in Montreal as well. So that's why we left. But then they went back to Cuba, and I stayed by myself over there for a bunch of years. So, as well, till I finished so I finished piano there, and then I started doing voice.
Okay.
And when I finished voice, that's when I had the decision to move to New York.
Right.
And definitely I miss the tropics. I made my family. My family is there. I haven't been there. Like, I was back in Cuba last year after 7 years.
Wow.
And planning to go back hopefully before the year ends. And I got the opportunity to perform in the Jazz Plaza Festival. That's one of the most important festivals in Havana. In next year in January. So
beautiful.
Nice.
I
cried. To be like my age. I'm 25. So for me, like at this age, to be back with everything that I know so far and perform my music in my country for a bunch of people, that, when I got the news, I was like, okay, like, I don't know, I'm like, Jesus, take the wheel.
Take the wheel, Jesus.
No, that was like one of the most beautiful news I ever received in my life.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you. I know. So how do you think you've changed as a woman and grown from your experiences away from Cuba and away from your family and the hustle and bustle of New York City and the beauty of Montreal?
Oh, well, it's been so many years. So it's I'm not gonna say it's harsh, because that has to be from which point of view you're seeing it. But it's been difficult to grow up, especially from a very young age, by myself and doing a lot of things by myself and being responsible and putting my boundaries and trying to figure out a lot of things even though like I was able to call my parents from time to time and talk to them, but at the moment you cannot be like, Mom. The moment you gotta solve things, and from from that personal aspect of life, it's been difficult, but it's been very rewarding because I'm not saying I'm a full grown woman, because listen, my dad always says the career of being a person is very long.
We hope.
So
I like that.
And you gotta live a lot of life, and you gotta like experience a bunch of things. So in my point of view, I cannot ever say, okay, I'm a full grown up woman. Maybe when I'm in my deathbed, okay, peace. But for now, I'm just still growing and learning, and kind of going with the flow. But at the same time, it's when life brings you lemons, you gotta make lemonade, or at least like put some vodka in it. From the musical point of view, it's just been amazing to get all this knowledge that I wasn't able to get in Cuba, and listen to so many music and bands, and going to concerts of people that I admire, and getting to be friends with people that I admire. And all of that has influenced me in like my music, especially.
I admire your humility, and I like your dad saying, you got a long time to grow up.
Yeah.
I don't know, I was different. I was always cocky. I was grown since I was 18, but like, yeah. I didn't really, but I do think that you're right though, because I can speak for myself. Between the ages of 18 and 30, I feel like I lived 5 lifetimes.
Yeah.
I went through a lot of different stages and phases of life, making different types of decisions and growing as a man and as a human, and to hopefully grow in a way that gives the world something positive, for however long I have to annoy my wife and my daughter. So yeah, this has been great. You got an EP coming out. Let's not miss about that. Tell the people about the EP and what we can be expecting.
So this EP has been coming out for a very long time. It's just like, listen, I'm very picky when I have to put music out. I can put videos out of live sessions and things because I love the now. But when it comes to recording music and putting it out, that is gonna be there forever,
right?
In the listener's ears. I'm very picky with that, and I'm just I know that I've been taking a long time to do this, but it's for the good. Good things take time.
Absolutely.
And just wanted to put a good project out.
So when is it coming out?
It's coming out at the beginning of 2023.
Hey.
Yes.
Where can they get it?
It's gonna be everywhere. Every
iTunes,
Spotify, Bandcamp. I don't know what else people listen to. Oh, Tidal,
YouTube, everywhere. All right, what you got a name for it?
Yes. The project is entitled Inu.
Inu.
Inu is like I and you.
Oh, Inu.
Inu.
What does it
mean? It means inside in Yoruba language.
In Yoruba.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
Kind of, that's the religion that we practice in Cuba.
Cool. Oh, really? Wow.
So,
inside. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the same time, it's kind of like a play on words because it's like in you. So that's funny. I don't know.
Hey y'all, so don't miss out on Inu. I know I'm probably messing up the pronunciation because you said it to me 2 times, and every time I said it, you said it. So I know I was messing it up. But watch out for Gina D'Soto's brand new EP coming out sometime at the top of the year. I'm assuming that's January. You'll be able to get that on all the platforms, download it, watch it on YouTube. All the songs are about her new boyfriend. Okay?
Oh no.
Yo, how can people connect with you? What she got? Website, Instagram? What
I got a website, which I really need to like put my mind into it. But people can reach me mainly on Instagram. I reply to everything. Yeah, I check my DMs. I check the like, yeah, what's up? I reply. Facebook, I don't even know if people use Facebook.
Only old people use Facebook, you know.
I use it for my family mainly.
Yeah, right.
So I'm like,
so all right, that's fine. Y'all hit her up on, what's your Instagram handle?
Gina D'Soto.
Gina D'Soto. Hit Gina D'Soto up on Instagram. Don't hit her up on Facebook. If you DM her, she will respond no matter what you say. So
hey, but like
keep it
down.
Yo, Gina, man, it's been great having you on the Working Artist Project, and you're one of a kind talent. And
thank you.
It was great to get to know you. Hopefully, I'll see you on this. Now, I'm gonna see you like tomorrow night somewhere downtown New York. Now, like, you know, I'll see you.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah. I'm like, yes, what's good?
All right, y'all. My name is Darrian Douglas, and this is the Working Artist Project. We'll catch you later.